Well, hello and welcome to today's Wealth Builders webinar. I am so grateful that all of you joined us, and I'm so excited about this because it is about the design part of vacation rentals, which I have to say is my absolute favorite and passion. And it's really, really an important thing to grab hold of when we do vacation rentals and for many reasons. And I'll be sharing with you today all those reasons. And also just to encourage you that if you have an interest in vacation rentals, or maybe you're in vacation rentals and you want to go to the next level, our event this weekend is absolutely for you. Also, Bill Bronchek is the co-host of the event this weekend, and he would be on today, but he is not feeling well. But he will be all rested up and ready to go Friday night and Saturday. So I want to just remind you too that this is an interactive webinar. And what I mean by that is I'll save a few minutes at the end to take questions. We're going to be looking at a lot of before and afters. The good news is that we are very active in vacation rentals. So the things that I'm going to be sharing with you are things that I have learned, sometimes a little bit the hard way, right? And sometimes just things I intuitively knew just from staging. But I think this is going to be very helpful for you, and also just to get a little idea of what it takes to really get your vacation rentals up and performing well, with the design being a big part of that. So with that, I'd love to just see where you're all. Oh, good. Look at this. Arthur, thank you. You knew I was going to ask for this, didn't you? And I just love to hear where you're tuning in from. We've got Arthur that is on from Phoenix, Arizona. We're just so glad that you joined us. So go ahead and type in there for me where you're tuning in from. DJ from Texas. Hello, DJ. Good old Texas. I'd love to hear what part. We've got Paula coming in from Loveland, Colorado. Welcome. Hi, Fran from Illinois. Good to see you. We've got Michelle from London, the UK. Hey, Michelle, this is when I was over there. I don't know if you were at the business events that we did, but staging and design was a big opportunity in the UK. So I'm really glad that you tuned in. We've got Lori. Hello, Lori from Colorado Springs. Yuda, so good to see you. You're still in Florida. This is great. Lori and Yuda are in our coaching family. Tara, oh, so good to see you. And I hope I see you this weekend too, Colorado Springs. We've got DJ from Aledo, Texas. Thank you. Oh, Texas misses you. That's really sweet. Aaron, hello. You're in Texarkana. Good to see you. And you're driving. Thank you for tuning in while you're driving. Deborah from Kentucky. Good to see you, Michelle. So good to have you on. Amy, thank you for joining us. We've got Angela from Germany, Lisa from Fort Wayne. So good to see all of you. I just consider you're like my friends, right? Because you're tuning in, and I love that about Wealth Builders. Billy and Miss Becky just always remind us that we are a family, and I definitely feel that way. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started here. If you do have a question, you can enter it into the chat section on Zoom, or you can enter it into the Q&A. And I think that we are on Facebook today. So if you're tuning in from Facebook, go ahead and enter your question into the comment area, and I will answer as many of them as I possibly can. All right, let's get started here. So I've kind of titled this presentation a little different than the webinar titled Designing Short-Term Rentals, Creating Inviting Spaces with Style and Functionality. One of the things that we have really learned, and I'll be sharing details on this with vacation rentals, is our way to stand out to get the bookings really comes down to the design and the photos that people see online. And I like to compare it to, I look at the different possibilities that people have, the different options. And while we are definitely in the vacation rental, right? We own homes. We do have a couple condos as well. The competition is not just other vacation rentals. The competition for us is hotels, resorts, uh, bed and breakfast, right? People have a lot of different options for lodging. So there's a reason that people are drawn to vacation rentals, and in particular, our properties. And I believe a lot of that is creating a space that feels like home and little touches that really make people walk in or see it online and just emotionally connect with the property. So I just chose to take some photos through this that I'll be walking through, but this one is a property we just did this last weekend, right before Thanksgiving. And it's a new condo that we put together. And I did this up close photo because sometimes I think we need to determine what is it that actually creates this feeling. And so this is just an end table, but you can see all the things that we do to pull the end table together to make it feel very, very homey, very I don't know, luxurious in a way, very comfortable. So you're going to see in our properties, I do a lot of height differentiation on different spaces. I do a mixture of hard surfaces and soft surfaces. I love to use encouraging words throughout the property. And then on the practical side, things like you'll see there's a coaster there, right? You'll see that there's a candle there, and next to it is a wick trimmer, just little things like that that make the difference. So let's get started. So, why does design matter when you are looking and working on vacation rentals? First impressions are crucial. Guests make decisions within seconds of viewing photos. It's not like long-term rentals where a real estate agent or you bring them in to look at your property and they can walk through it and feel the space. The only way outside of people returning to our properties that we are able to attract people to our properties is online and what they see in pictures. Certainly, price has something to do with that, and we'll be covering all that in detail this weekend. But that first impression is what's going to draw them to your property. So you'll see too, this is in the condo as well. I will be sharing a lot of the secret sauce things, and even I'm going to be sharing this weekend for some of the places that you can purchase the furniture, because a lot of questions we get is, hey, where do we find this furniture? How do we know how to lay it out? We'll be doing some hands-on things with real properties, and you'll get the chance to kind of figure out what the layout would be like in a vacation rental. But here I just want to point out things like the electric fireplaces. I'm a huge fan of that to create beauty in a home and even just a little bit of heat at times in those cool mornings. And then bringing in the soft textures like you'll see here. And I love using candlelight. And we use a lot of luminaires. We use the battery ones from Amazon. These I just happen to use tea lights to light them. But things like this, people look at and they're like, I want to be in that space. A well-designed space improves guest satisfaction, leading to better reviews and increased bookings. If you go through our properties and you look at the reviews, a lot of the amazing comments have to do with the layout and the design of our properties. People really appreciate that. So we'll be going into detail too of even thinking through where's the conversation space here. If we're going to watch television, what does that feel like, right? If I'm in the kitchen and I'm waking up in the morning, what do I want to see in a coffee maker and the mugs? What type of dishware do we put in there that people need? What are those little extra things that we can add that makes their stay feel really luxurious, really relaxing, that other people just don't do? Now, what's interesting too about vacation rentals is every area is different. What I mean by that is the amenities in a mountain home, let's just say, are going to be different than the amenities in a beach home. In a beach home, you want to have things like, sand toys. If your target market or your customer segment is families, you want to have a little wagon to bring to the beach. You want to have things like towels, right? To go to the beach. You want to have a place there that they can rinse off their feet with the sand. But then if you're in the mountains, you're going to have another set of things that people are looking for. So when you kind of determine your target market and the area, that helps drive what you want to have in that property. Thoughtful design helps differentiate your property in a competitive market. One of the things that we found in Cocoa Beach, in Vero Beach, and that area, the beachy area, is that a lot of the vacation rentals were overdone with the beach look. What do I mean by that? Those of you that have heard me talk on this before, you've heard this, but it means like, oh my gosh, there's coral walls in this room, there's turquoise walls in this room, and we've got mermaids all over. It's like not peaceful, it's over the top coastal, right? So we knew that when we came into the market, we're going to have a subtle design of coastal. We're going to have a nod to coastal, but we're going to keep the colors very tranquil. We're going to keep the furniture neutral, and we'll have soft pops of color. So that design really makes a difference when you're attracting people. So this is our most recent property. This is not the condo I was referencing. This is the house that we have called the coastal cabin. And naming your properties helps give it personality. And with this one, you'll see this is the before. And so I want to, with each of these slides, I just want to kind of explain to you how to apply some of the things that I'm talking about. So this was an existing vacation rental that was really underperforming, but it was in one of the best neighborhoods in the area. Matter of fact, this is our second property that we purchased in this neighborhood, and we're looking for more. This weekend, what you're going to learn is as we research in each area, we'll give you the tools and take you through. You can actually find very easily the top performing properties in your market. And the crazy thing about this one is that 2 doors down is one of the most top performing vacation rentals in the area. Yet this one in the same neighborhood was underperforming. Well, when you look at this, it probably tells you why it was underperforming. This is not laid out in a way that feels cozy or warm. It's not something that someone is going to necessarily jump to and see themselves in this property. And you might say, well, what do you mean? You know, what are the details of that? What are people looking for? So I'm going to just tell you the things that I saw in this property that they were missing the mark with, which when you know what we're going to be sharing with you, things like this in this weekend, you're going to be able to identify the opportunities that you have to turn a property from something that is not working into something that is working and performing well. So when I looked at this, there was a couple things that jumped out in this room. First of all, the layout is not friendly. You come into the front door here, you turn to the left, there's a kitchen that we completely redid, and I'll show you more of this weekend. And then you look to the right, and there's this very long room with a brick fireplace at the end that is in essence completely ignored in the way that they laid out furniture. So if I'm looking at this property as a potential to go and stay, first of all, I'm seeing a fireplace. It looks dated and it's blocked off. So what that means is it's not functional. So basically, when I looked at this, I saw they have a beautiful fireplace that they are completely disregarding in the way that they did the design and the layout. You'll see here there's 2 chairs sitting in front of the fireplace, but no one's going to sit there. So it's great that you have 2 chairs, but the chairs look uncomfortable. They ignore the fireplace and they're facing right towards the back of a couch, right? And there's nothing more over here. The other thing is there is the floor here is very hard surface. And when you look at this, even though it's got a rug, immediately it's like my feet are going to be cold, even though it's in Florida. That's not going to feel good to walk across. The other thing is there's a lot of disconnection that's happening here. If you look at this lamp, it's pulled way over to the side and completely disconnected from the fireplace. The artwork here is too small for the space and it's too far away from the fireplace and anything else to be connected. Those are subtle things, and I know I'm a little over the top on some of this stuff, but those are the things that we see that help contribute to understanding why something like this is underperforming. So I'll be showing a lot more before and afters. This is the after of that same space. So I want to give you a couple things that we knew to do that would cause this really unusable area in many ways to become very functional. So we did paint the brick, did like a 50% on there. And then I created a space that was conversational and cozy for people to visit with. What you see here is a patio door, and out here is actually a bird sanctuary. So it's really pretty cool. And in this, we brought in some neutral colors. We brought in some nice furniture, and we like to live in our vacation rentals for a while, if possible, or stay in it to get all the bugs out. But with this, when you walk in and you look to the right now, all the finishes are really very cozy. They're very comfortable. Just bringing the TV from over here to the side and then putting the swing arms so that if I'm sitting here, I can watch TV. I can even catch it here. I can turn this and catch it. I can eat and watch it. Bringing in some softness with the plant is really important. Simplifying what was happening here on the fireplace, and then you'll see here, instead of ignoring that fireplace and putting something right in the middle, we pulled the grate off. We put real logs in there with just little flicker lights. And so this way, even though there's not a fire in there, it feels very cozy and it tricks you into thinking that this fireplace is actually functional. Also, you see things like this on the coffee table, some softness. I'm very particular. I'll go in more with this on creating different textures to make sure that I've got a mixture of plants and flowers. And then one of the things that I would say is very special about our properties is they always create a nice conversation area that I can see people sitting in the morning once they get their coffee. So I created a little conversation space over here for people to either visit with people that are at the table, but really to wake up in the morning, to read, to have their cup of coffee in a very cozy space. So in that, I created two seating areas and a nice area for people to eat at, which was missing in the last property. I also just pulled in a little light here, which was missing. And as you can tell, we painted that ceiling to make it a much more cohesive look. So let's go look at this before one more time. Okay, and then this is the after. Okay, understanding your target audience. You want to identify who your property is best suited for. Families look for child-friendly furniture and safety features. Business travelers often include workspaces, ergonomic chairs, charging stations, and I'll be sharing all the little things that we do to deliver on this in the properties. And then if you have something that maybe is a smaller, like our condos are one bedroom, that's really more of a place for couples. So in there, we like to focus on creating a romantic, intimate atmosphere, a place that people can see as a getaway. Now, this can work two ways, all right? We talk about this in marketing and with the business model canvas as well. But you can either look at a market and then based on that, determine who your customer segment should be, or you can choose who you want your customer segment to be, and then you can design a property to fit that target market. So we do both of those, and I'll show you some of the tools that we use that you can help determine that. For example, there's one property that we have in Vero Beach that is one bedroom. It's a perfect executive rental, okay? And we decided that that is a target market that we wanted in that property. And so in that, we built in features that makes it a great executive rental, like a desk, definitely charging stations, a Nespresso machine, right? So in the morning, they have really good coffee, those types of things. So again, you can either study the market and help that determine who your target market should be and then design around that, or you can choose what type of target market you want, and then you can do things that actually help draw that target market to you. You can research those common traveler preferences in your location. I'm going to show you on the next slide how to do that. And then, as I mentioned, you can tailor your amenities and design elements to meet their expectations. So here, this is a little bit of a close-up of one of the bedrooms that we just did. I'll be showing you before and after on it. But this is something where we wanted a touch of coastal, right? And we don't want to go overboard. So in this, if we just get down to the details, because we're talking about design elements, I got these at Wayfair. These are amazing. They go on the wall. I pulled in the rattan to give it that beach look. The gold is really in. It's not a brassy gold. It's just like a really classy gold. All you have to do is attach this to the wall and plug it in, and it creates an amazing look. But this is those touches that are coastal that aren't over the top. So just, something like this. It's a little sandpiper. I actually found this in Minnesota. I go to thrift stores too, and I'll find something in one of our properties. A 90-year-old vet made similar pieces like this. So I bought that and put it in the property. But you see, it's not over the top, but it definitely has a feel of coastal. And again, this is in the coastal cabin. All right, this is a slide that I took right from the Airbnb host access pages. And in Airbnb, it gives you really good insights into what's happening in your market. And this is very helpful. And it lends back to what I was just sharing with you to find out what people want. And then you can pull things in, or you can start to design your space to support some of these. So this is very interesting. The insights showed that 34% of the travelers in the area where we were at were coming from less than 300 miles away. That's a pretty significant amount. That's over a third of the people that are coming to Cocoa Beach to stay in vacation rentals actually can drive there. They're within 300 miles. And so that helps you in your marketing efforts, where we might think we need to market our properties maybe, all over the world, which you could, or even just nationally. But when we know that people are traveling from right there in Florida or in near Georgia, we can actually deliver our campaigns and our verbiage to support that. So things like, a Florida staycation in Cocoa Beach, or, something that says to them that a quick weekend getaway, right? Come to our properties. And this is insights that shows what the most wanted amenities are in the area. So look at this. We could see that people were looking for something that was child friendly. They were searching for a pool, and they were looking for things that are infant friendly. Now, if we had a target market that we wanted families in there, we would start to use this language in the description. So we actually don't go after families a whole lot. We do a little bit, but if I wanted to have a focus on bringing families with lots of kids into our properties, I would do something like purchase a pack and play, right? And then I would put that in the description. Things like I would focus and show pictures of the sand toys and the wagon, the things that this group of people, families, would be looking for. When you have this insight, you can easily incorporate that into things. The pool was very helpful for us, and I'll be showing you this weekend how you can see what the ROI is on these different things that you're considering putting in your property. For example, in the area that we are in, if we put a pool in, that brings on average an additional $17,000 of income per year. And a pool costs about $55,000. So for us, we just know that, hey, if we're going to have that completely paid for within 3 years. And also, just with further study, we know if we do those pools right, there's a big difference between just throwing a pool, above ground pool in your backyard, and putting a nice in-ground in with landscaping, which is the direction that we go. So I know that I can actually kind of improve those numbers. And then this was really interesting too, just to get an idea of, hey, how is our area doing, or what's the area doing that you're looking at going into? And this was just sharing that the searches for stays in the area that we're in increased 102% compared to the same time last year. That's really helpful because I know that this is an area that the demand is actually increasing for vacation rentals. This was just something I was going to share with you too, that is that executive rental. So how do you actually take things to make it work for an executive rental? So we carved out a space in the hallway and we found these really amazing desks. I think we've purchased 2 or 3 of those already from Amazon, and we just created a nice space for them to have a desk. And when you're thoughtful for things like that, knowing the target market that's coming in, it means a lot. And I'm telling you, when you focus and you put these pictures towards the front, it works really, really well to draw people to your property versus them going to another property. Okay, key elements of design. Number one, your style. Define a theme that reflects the property's location and purpose. Coastal properties, we incorporate light, airy colors, which you've seen. We incorporate some nautical decor, but as I was sharing with you, it's very subtle. So I did a close-up of that coffee table for you here so I can just share with you the thought process behind this. And those of you that are interested in design, I just call it like we just geek out on this stuff, right? So here, it's like, believe it or not, I made a special trip to Hobby Lobby just for these hydrangeas. And I did it because I wanted to bring blue in. But sometimes when you get hydrangeas from places, they're kind of an obnoxious blue, right? Or they're really deep navy blue. And I wanted to find a coastal color that lent a little bit more towards gray than a bright blue to bring in. So I brought these in, and that's really my main pop of color on that end of the room. Also, here's another little tip, just even finding candles that have got rattan around them. And then I always like to put a tray on the coffee table to create that space. And it just feels very cozy when people sit and look at it. And it contributes to that coastal decor in a very subtle way where it's still not in your face. Functionality, think how guests will use the space. So you want to provide enough seating and dining spaces for the maximum number of guests. Ensure the layout facilitates movement and accessibility. So there's a little rule of thumb that I use is I like to keep like 30 inches between maybe a piece of furniture and a wall, right? Because you want to make sure that people can get around places and they can walk through it. Yet you want to maximize it and put as much in there as you can and scale that furniture so that you're getting in those conversation areas. And I would tell you with things like dining, you want to make sure that with the number of guests, you have the appropriate amount of dining space. And that can actually go either way. So let me give you an example, and I'll be showing you more of this weekend. But one of the properties that we went in and we did a fourplex. So we redid every unit with design, okay? And it went from a very underperforming property to a very high performing property for that area. But when we went in to a studio apartment, okay, so that means that the bed, everything is in one room, and then you've got a bathroom. They had a 6-person conference table in there, and I am not kidding you. Well, that doesn't make sense. You don't need to use a space for 6 people. You've got one bed. So in that situation, we actually pulled that table and chairs out, which I would have anyway, because they were very ugly. They were from like an office garage sale or something. And instead, we just put in a portable island with a little space, I don't know, a shelf, you might say, where we could bring in some stools under that. And not only did we create an appropriate seating area for people to eat because there's a maximum of 2 people in there, but we were able to provide the kitchen with some storage that was much needed and really fill that space nicely. And I was able to add a sofa, which was not in there before. So when you look at things too, if you've got 6 people that are coming into a property and maybe you have that island, that doesn't make sense. You need a table for people to sit at and dine at. Comfort, prioritize quality in areas that matter the most. So I get amazing deals, let me just tell you, on furniture, and I'll give you all the areas that I shop for them and the places. But there are some things that we will not scrimp on. And one of them you'll learn very fast is don't scrimp on mattresses. No, I'm not telling you you spend $1,000. I'm telling you, you go on Amazon, I'll show you what we get, and you get a certain kind of mattress that doesn't have an 8-inch mattress, but it's got a 14-inch mattress. And then you get nice mattress pads, little things like that. You can find really nice pillows. And some people like flat pillows, some people like poofy pillows. So you try to give them a mixture, right? So it's something that works for everyone. So I could go on and on. I don't have time for that in this webinar, but I just want to share with you some of the pathways that we'll be going down to go in deeper on this. All right, this is a before of one of the properties, that same property that was not functioning well. Well, this was the back bedroom, and I can see, like, I wouldn't want to stay there. Would you want to stay there? I wouldn't want to wake up and see all that. But the room itself was huge and it wasn't being maximized. So this is what I call where it looks like someone uh, either just went over the top with coastal, or in some cases they just went and just bought whatever they could, but they didn't put it together well. And here is the after, and I'll explain to you why I did it this way. So let me go back to the before. This is a space where it looks, I think it's a full bed, where one, maybe 2 people could sleep, but this is a really, really big room. So what we did is we made this into what I would envision as eventually maybe more like the kids' room, right? And in that, just thinking like if a family came, I think our best target market for this is probably the grandparents come with the parents, with the kids, right? And they have an extended time. Well, we made this a kids' room so that you have a twin bed here. You've got the day bed, which works out really great. And then you've got a trundle that comes out. So you could have 3 kids basically sleeping in here incredibly comfortably. And with that, just a little dresser on each side and then a desk, so if they're doing their homework or if there's someone there that needs to do work Zoom calls, they would have a place to do that. Do you see how we just matched this room with the target market and we expanded the space to really accommodate what it is we were looking for? And of course, we did the decor to make it look much nicer than it was before. This was the other bedroom, the second bedroom that was there, and all that was in there was a day bed, and not a very nice one at that. This is very limiting, okay? And it does not look comfortable. I look at this and I would think, oh my gosh, I'm going to hit my head. Plus, this isn't real furniture. This is like, I don't know what that material is, something soft that comes out. And the layout and the design is just not pleasing. So this is what we did with that room. We created a seating space. We brought in a full bed. We did the design. And when you come into the property, this is the first bedroom you see on the right. So I wanted it to be smashing because that is going to be in that first 7 to 10 seconds. Whether they stay there or not, they're going to love the feel of this room. Okay. This is the condo, and I was just going to share with you again. We didn't have the picture up there, but the layout of a space is very important. Here's that fireplace, which you saw close up, and we know we needed the couch, but this is a very tight space. And in most of these condos, they only have one seating area, and I know we need to have more than one seating area. So there's a chair here with a lamp to read in the morning. And then this is one of those couches that you fold out so that if they did have a guest, they would be able to actually make that into a bed. And then I created a space in the back next to the patio door, and the ocean's right here. It's back here. The ocean's there, that they could read, have conversation, and they would just have a little bit more space than if I would just put a couch in there and a chair. It just expands a living space and looks much more comfortable. Here's another little trick I want to share with you is these portable islands are absolutely amazing. So when you bring in a portable island in a kitchen, it gives you a much cozier feel, more functionality, and some of those they actually have storage in them, and it makes it work better if you feel like you're in a kitchen that's too far apart. And something like this is just a couple $100s, right? So I'm going to show you all those tricks. All right, choosing the right furniture. You do want to select durable materials that withstand frequent use and cleaning, and look for stain-resistant fabrics and scratch-proof finishes. That is true. However, the reality is that you really don't want to put so much money in your furniture that you would not want to switch it out every maybe 3 to 4 years. Uh, so I don't go over the top on quality of furniture. I do get furniture that is a good quality that matches with the overall price of the property, but I know that I'm going to want to switch those out and update these properties every 3 to 4 years. So I don't want to put $20,000 into furniture because then I'm not going to want to switch those out. So hopefully that makes sense. You want to have a balance. But one thing that was really awesome, we just got this love seat, that one I was showing you in the property, and I don't know what happened, but Julianne had something in her purse, like makeup in her purse or something, and it just had spilled all this black makeup on that brand new love seat. And she was really kind of panicked, like, oh my gosh. And I was like, don't worry about it, because we had gotten some furniture that had some of that stain master. And I'm telling you, with a little vinegar, we use the Windex with vinegar and Dawn dishwashing foam, you literally can get out anything. So we found a lot of those little tricks too to help with that. You want to have multi-purpose furniture if possible. It adds flexibility. So I was just mentioning to you some sofa beds. Ottomans with storage are amazing. Foldable tables, they can maximize utility. But I use those sofa beds very sparingly as well. This property is that you're looking at here is in the top 1% of vacation rentals in Cocoa Beach, and it's only been on the market since May. So I give my children, Levi and Carly, a lot of credit for that. But the idea with this, that I'm making the point with this, is I did not want this property to be a place where someone would just cram as many people as they could into the space, because that is really hard on your space. And this is in an area that could potentially attract partiers because it's a block from downtown. And I didn't want to have a bunch of college students where they're sleeping all over the place. And one way that I could guard against that is we have 2 bedrooms. One's got a queen bed in it with a day bed with a trundle, perfect for parents and kids. And then one room has got 2 twin beds, and I put no sofa bed in here. So with that, I can kind of control the number of people that's going to be in this property. Yet with the condo, if somebody stayed there and maybe they had a friend visit, or maybe a grown child visit, something like that, or a grandchild come visit, they would need to have another place to sleep. And those are the type of properties I will go ahead and add the sofa bed in. This is a biggie, really, really big deal here. Ensure furniture fits the scale of the room. I can't tell you how important this is, plus how many people make this mistake. Because what oftentimes people will do is they will go and they will try to find deals on furniture, which is great, or they'll use furniture from other places, other properties, which we have done. But quickly you learn that just because this big sofa worked in my 4,000 square foot house, it is not going to work in this 1,200 square foot house. So if you get too big a pieces of furniture, it limits your possibilities and it takes away the coziness. So I have found really great small scale furniture that fits the properties. And again, I'm going to be sharing some of that with you this weekend. It's very possible, but once you get an eye for what you're looking for, you'll be able to right away know if you're getting furniture that fits in a room or doesn't fit in a room. Create a memorable experience. You want to add unique touches that tell a story about your property or location. And so things like featuring locally sourced artwork, books, or cultural artifacts is good. The picture that was above the desk that I was sharing with you, we actually got at an art fair, right? And so that's kind of cool. Um, anyway, there's a lot of things you could do just to give it a little bit of a local flair and give it some interest. Provide thoughtful amenities to make guests feel at home. Definitely stocking the kitchen with coffee, tea, basic cooking utensils. I've got a checklist for you, those of you that are at the event that I'll be sharing with you. Include things like board games, local guides. We have local guides in all of the properties, maps. I like to definitely name each property. So this one that you're looking at here is the Sandpiper Villa. We've got the Cocoa Villa. We've got Beachside Bungalow. We've got the Coastal Cabin. We've got the Coastal Farmhouse. We've got Vero's Artist Cottage, right? When you name them and you let people know the names, it gives it a personality, and then they start to connect with the property through that. Lighting is really important to enhance the mood. I like to definitely layer options with overhead task and accent lights. So things like too, when you're sitting in this property, I might be reading right there, right? That you'll see that the dresser, it's a studio. So you've got the dresser that is there next to the sofa. Well, we're going to want to have lighting for that because if all people have is overhead lighting, first of all, it's too bright and they want to have something that's cozy. So I do a lot with lamps. I do things like the rattan that I was sharing with you that's very inexpensive. We've got sconces on the side of one of our newest properties that you actually charge with a USB because one of the things that people don't want to do things like this, it's expensive. But when you find these little hacks, you might say, you're able to create this look with lighting that is very inexpensive. I'll just share one more with you and go on here. Another thing that we found, and they're like under $10, is at Target, you can get under kitchen counter lights that actually just adhere underneath and they're nice. You turn them on and off. I don't like to use USBs under there. I like to use batteries because it's too difficult to take something off, think you're going to charge it and put it back on. So with that, we found the perfect under counter lights and it creates this high-end look in your kitchens that you've spent maybe $50 on. All right, leveraging technology. Smart home features simplify the guest experiences. Smart locks and contactless check-in offer convenience. There's a certain type of lock that we like to use. You can access it through your phone, right? So you can actually change the code each time if you feel like you need to. You can install a smart thermostat to allow guests to control comfort. In one of the properties that I had in Minnesota, actually, because it gets really cold there, you don't want someone turning your heat up to 98 degrees and then leaving, right? So we put like a max top on it and a max cooling on it. And in that area, I could control my heating bills and air conditioning bills because it could just get out of control really quickly for you in especially a large property. High-speed internet can be really important depending on your target market, and then providing streaming subscriptions with clear instructions. So what we do in all of our properties is we put in, unless we inherited a TV, it would be a different brand, but generally we put in a brand of Sam or a model of Samsung TVs. They're smart TVs, and you can get them at Costco in various sizes for, under $300, or you could get a really big one for more than that. But what we love about that is that it loads all the options like Netflix, Prime Video. So we don't pay for any cable. We only pay for internet, and we don't do direct TV or anything like that in our properties. But people can access their personal subscriptions, which works out really, really well. It doesn't cost us money to try to carry that. And then they can use their own sign in, and it's very convenient. So we don't do the super high end. We're not really trying to attract gamers or anything like that, but we do a nice internet speed so that we know that it will actually work for people that are on business. So I just want to share with you a little bit of this picture. This is one of our newest bathrooms, and I'll be sharing more about some of these things that we've learned. But just little things about how to lay out the bathrooms, how to make it cozy, good for pictures, but still functional so people feel like they can actually put their makeup on here or curl their hair here or blow, use a blow dryer, all those things. But this, I want to point out to you, has been such an amazing thing for us. We have discovered, Levi actually has discovered this thing called micro cement. And micro cement, we've been putting in pretty much all of our properties, even put it in a countertop in the coastal cabin. But what this does is it goes right over old tile. Okay, so you don't have to tear out the tile. You can just put this micro cement over it, and it looks like a brand new bathroom. And then instead of fussing with a shower curtain, which can get moldy, dirty, fall down, all that, we get these panels at Home Depot and put them on the tubs and the showers. And you don't need a shower door and you don't need a shower curtain. And that really helps you with cleaning as well. But also look at that amazing design element. So we'll be going over a lot of these little tricks that we've learned that's going to help you when you go forward, or maybe you enhance your vacation rentals. Here's some final tips for success. Professional photography is a must. Thankfully, Carly is a photographer, so she does a great job for us. Highlight the best features and create a sense of scale. So, one of the things, and we'll be going through this on your listing, we'll switch out sometimes the cover photo and we'll test things like, um, one of them, we've got this really beautiful little photo of the back of a couch under the fireplace, and it's got the candles on it, like little books we've got put together. And then we have a mug on there that's got a little tea bag that is, the little ticket or whatever on the tea bag there. So that immediately, especially in cooler weather, is creating a feeling when you go and look at that on our front page, like, wow, I want to be there in that cozy space. Around Christmas, you might switch it out to something that's got some lights on. In the heat of the summer, I'm probably not going to put a fireplace on the front there, but I'm going to show something that helps people see maybe that they can sit outside with a glass of wine in the evening, something like that. So we'll be going over those things that really help draw people in. Regularly update the design, rotate seasonal decor, refresh linens, curtains. We just went through one of our properties, Beachside Bungalow, and Carly and I did a little refresh. We just did the micro cement there. We had to build up some of the cash on that property to save, then go in the redesign. We did new rugs, we did new pillows, we just painted the inside. Next, we're going to do flooring. So we kind of think through those things that we need to refresh. We'll go out and buy new towels, new sheets. Those are very inexpensive things that can make a big difference in the experience of your property. And then listen to guest feedback. Act on constructive criticism to continually improve the experience. I don't like to see any negative comments, but I'm appreciative of people. We'll get, a 5-star review. Usually we have mostly all 5-star reviews. We definitely have some 4s in there too. But then the guest can private message you something that they don't want to harm you, right? But they'll just let you know little things. Like, for example, the tub is draining slow. Those are things that are very helpful that you want to welcome from your guest so that when you go and clean or you're ready for the next guest, those things are taken care of. All right, so we just breezed over the top of this, you guys. There's so much more, and again, we'll do hands-on. But I just want to encourage you that if you have not yet signed up for this event and you really are interested in vacation rentals, this is going to be a phenomenal event. We still do have some in-person seats available, so I would encourage you, if you've been thinking about it, I hope that this helps you to say yes. We've got it at a great price. Bill and I are going to be there the whole time. And if you want to add on the VIP, we've got a Friday night event that we're doing a nice intimate dinner. We're going to be sharing some insights with you. We're going to be, if words come, if God puts on our heart a word for you, we're going to be sharing words. We're going to be praying over you, and we're going to be breaking bread and sharing a meal. So if you want to get registered, here's a QR code for that, and we would absolutely love to see you this weekend. All right, so um, let me just take a look here and see. Let me get back to, there we go, to see if we've got any questions from anybody. All right. Oh, this is so great. Um, Oh, that's so cute. Waco. You're going to Waco. We had properties there too, Erin. That's great. Are the candles flameless? Okay, Paula, that's a great question. So usually what I do is I do a mixture of that. So what you saw, some of them were flameless and some of them were actually real candles. The reason I put real candles in the condo is because our family was staying there. And so I wanted to let them have the opportunity for those tea lights. But if we have other guests there, I will switch those out to something that is a on Amazon, that has got a timer on it. And sometimes I will even use the really nice candles that last quite a while with the batteries, and then just have them turn on at for 6 hours at certain times. You can get inexpensive ones at Hobby Lobby as well. The ones that I like the most, as I mentioned, is on Amazon. I can share that link with you guys this weekend. But then in our high-end properties, I use luminaires. And you can actually get luminaires on Amazon for a fraction of the price that you can Pottery Barn. And so the coastal cabin, I've got, I didn't even show you the bedroom. I'll show you more about that, but I've got luminaires kind of lined up in there. And then I've got the remotes. So that's a really high-end feature for people that are staying there. And that property is going to go probably $500-600 a night. So I do want to make sure that we do a really good job with that. Then they can just click it on, or you can put it on a timer. But I'll also put candles around that are actual candles, but I'll always make sure that they're not in a space. I was just like looking at my shelf, like I wouldn't put one on a shelf here because there's a potential that it could cause a problem above it. So I place it maybe in the middle of a table, and then it's got like a nice smell to it. And I will put a few of those around a property so that people can light a candle. Dave and I, anywhere we go, we're always bringing candles with us. We like to have a candle in our hotel room or where we stay. So I like to have that available for people too. That's a great question. All right. Here we go too. Do you donate the old sheets, rugs, pillows, etc. when you update and change them out? Definitely not pillows, definitely not sheets. I just throw them away because I don't know how sanitary that would be, but rugs and pillows, definitely. So there's a lady that we met down in Cocoa Beach. I was a waitress at one of our favorite restaurants, and she has a thrift shop that she has a ministry to single moms. So oh my gosh, old pictures, everything we donate there. And there's other places as well. So definitely with the decor, because that can really be a blessing for people. But anything that's like towels where people have used them, I don't do that. But that's a really good question. So Raymond says, Karen, you bring out some really good practical and comforting design ideas. The before and after pictures are excellent. Oh, thank you. Really good guidance on the scaling and having the right spaces. Oh, Raymond, thank you. That's really sweet of you. Fran says, I like the outdoors as a separate space. I put cute light curtains on patio cover and decorative ladder with little things to make it adorable. Yes, Fran, that is such a good idea. And we do that too with like little carports. So maybe we can share some ideas and kind of what we do, right, to make those spaces beautiful. And it really can extend your space. One of the Vero Cottage, actually, the one that we put the desk in, that's executive rental. They have, when we bought that, there's a porch on the back that was like a screened in porch. And I turned that into, I put an electric fireplace in there. I put a TV in there, little seating area, then like a little coffee place in the morning. So we really turned that into a functional room. And so, Fran, I can tell you're excited about that. I love the little ladders, all those cute things, and we'll be showing more about that. And your outdoor space, when you do it right, I have this in my 7 seconds book. if you do your outdoor space right, it feels like an extension of the inside. So you might only have 1,000 square feet, but when you do the outdoor space as an extension, same thing if you have a basement, people just, they feel like they have got a lot more space, right? And so that makes it fun. Okay, I'm geeky. No, no, sorry about that. All right, we'll go to the Q&A. Thanks for that information. Okay. Paula says, are all your vacation rentals in Florida and are the plants you use in staging for real? That's a great question. So they are all in Florida right now. And we're in different areas, but that's just our space, right? That's our area that God has called us to. And on the inside, I use faux plants, but I've got my absolute favorite that look real and that add a lot of texture. And then on the outside, sometimes what we'll do if, especially if we want to create a, make it look like there's a wall, but there's not a wall, or to create privacy, I'll do the big planters and put like sea grapes in there or palm trees. And then those are real because I know that if I'm not there, that there's at least rain there, or we might ask our guests while you stay, uh, please water our plants, things like that. But on the inside, I wouldn't want to risk it because I think they'd be dead in no time. And then the other one is, how do you keep the space sanitary? Washing comforters, pillows, how to prevent bed bugs. Those are really great questions, Amy. So in that, we have really good cleaners, first of all, that keep an eye on things for us. And you'll see, and I'll be sharing this with you this weekend. I have a very specific type of comforter that I use. I do not use the thick comforters. And the reason for that is they are really difficult to wash. So I do these like Alora Ashley or on Amazon. It's like a cotton quilt and they're very washable. A matter of fact, they wash and dry in the same time about as sheets do. So that's one thing that we do to keep it sanitary is not have too much of like that cushion thing where people could get in. And then what I do for pillows is I get those pillow covers that are like they're waterproof, but I think they're even like antibacterial, that type of thing. And so when I get the nice pillows, I put them in that case and I zip it and then I put the pillowcase over it. And that makes a really big difference. Same thing with mattress pads. You just get a real solid mattress pads. And we would check, we've never had bed bugs and believe we never will have bed bugs. But part of that is too, when you've got that mattress pad that is really secure and a high quality, when the cleaners pull any sheets off, if there's anything going on there, we would be able to see it. But your cleaners are absolutely so vital to the success of your business. And I'll share more about that this weekend too, because we actually ended up starting our own cleaning company. And we do a lot of the standards and things too to make sure that they're checking those things. Great questions, you all. Wow, really good questions. All right. Well, I think that does it for us. And again, we would just love to have you as a part of our event this weekend. If you absolutely cannot come in person, we have an option for live stream as well. So if you can't make in person, at least get on the live stream and we'll venture into this amazing pathway to vacation rentals. And I just love it because I think it's part of how God designed us, not only to bring transformation, but hospitality. So thanks so much for joining us. We love and appreciate all of you. And just make it an amazing rest of the day. Thanks again, and God bless.